Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Peace United Church of Christ. No matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. Pastor Wendy is on vacation. Please open your hearts and minds to these opening words. We know what God desires of us, that we do justice and love kindness and walk humbly with God. We gather this morning to remind each other about that, to remember that now is always the right time to do these things. So with thanks in our hearts, let us worship God.
The first reading this morning is from Isaiah in chapter 32. Then justice will dwell in the wilderness, and righteousness abide in the fruitful field. The effect of righteousness will be peace, and the result of righteousness, quietness and trust forever. My people will abide in a peaceful habitation, in secure dwellings, and in quiet resting places. And the second reading from Matthew in chapter 25. Then the king will say to those at his right hand, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?" And the king will answer them, "Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these siblings of mine, you did it to me." For the wisdom contained in these holy words, we give thanks. Amen. Amen.
So Jesus says, "I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. I was naked and you gave me clothing. I was sick and you took care of me. I was in prison and you visited me." I can just see that look of surprise on the people's faces and their minds going, "Oh, when was it that I did all of these things for you, for Jesus? When did I do all these things? Well, when did I even do one of these things for Jesus?" And Jesus lets us know, whenever we do something for our siblings, we do it for Jesus. We're called to act and make a difference in people's lives. From the passage in Isaiah, we heard that people should have a peaceful, secure place to live. Let's put this together with "I was a stranger and you welcomed me." What would it look like if we take it farther than just welcoming someone in, while we're also thinking about how people should have a peaceful, secure place to live? It could be part of building affordable housing for senior citizens that we voted on 2 weeks ago. Maybe it's helping Habitat for Humanity build houses. So at this time, I would like to invite Harper from Habitat for Humanity to come forward and talk to us about their program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, that was good. You guys are well practiced. I'm going to talk about our mission, but I also wanted to thank the singers and the chime players this morning. I really greatly enjoyed that, so thank you so much. I hope others thank you as well. So my name is Harper Zalanko. I'm the Director of Resource Development at Habitat for Humanity St. Louis. And like with any great adult job description, that doesn't tell you anything about what I do for a living. But essentially what I do is manage investment. And that's what you all are doing today. That's what you've done year after year in Habitat, and that's what you are going to do on our work site. You are investing in the Habitat mission. Our mission as an organization is to build affordable housing. And we do so as part of a partnership program with the families who qualify for our programs. So our families qualify for our program based on their income, their need, and willingness to partner. Income is this really dry IRS chart that we have that we can give people, but our families are low-income working families. A lot of them are working 2 full-time jobs, which when you do the math for that is hard. And then they qualify on that. They go through a series of workshops and they put in 350 sweat equity hours into the building of their homes and the homes of other Habitat home buyers. Their children go to tutoring classes, they go to financial literacy classes, they go to workshops on how to be better neighbors. We set our families up for success from go. And that's because they're getting access to resources that they may not have access to by any other means. And that's not even just through the buying of the house process. We want to make sure that when they buy a house in a neighborhood, they know what they're prepared for, they know how to be good neighbors, because what we've actually seen is this is one of the greatest ways for low-income families to build generational wealth, that they can pass down generation to generation. We would love for 3 generations down the line the expectation to be, well, yeah, I'm gonna own a house one day because grandma owns a house, and I grew up in that house. And we wanna make sure that we continue that process. So that's fundamentally what Habitat does. They purchase their homes after going through this whole process. It's usually a year to a year and a half. We're running a little behind as we pick up on pandemic year construction. And they purchase their home at an affordable rate. So it might cost us X to build a house, and they can afford Y, and then we bridge that gap with investment like yours. So that's what you do when you invest in Habitat. And some of these pictures that you'll see, oh, that actually was perfectly timed. So Habitat feels like it's really important. We could just slap housing up all over the place, but that's not what we do. Habitat actually builds affordable, sustainable housing, and we build to higher green standards than most residential and commercial builders do. So we build to zero resolution standards, which has a whole bunch of fun things behind it. But fundamentally, we want our homes to be clean, to be green, and be sustainable for our home buyers. So while we don't put solar panels in, they have solar panel ties built in. And we pay attention to everything from the paint that goes on the walls to the landscaping process, because it doesn't make sense for a home buyer to come into a home and pay an affordable rate and then have their utilities leak out their windows. Again, we want to continue setting our families up for success. So when you guys choose to make this investment, whether it's donating your time or your resources, or if anybody's coming out on your volunteer day, your sore muscles that you will experience for days on end, I'm going to apologize and thank you in advance for that one. But all of that contributes to the Habitat mission. So you're coming out and you might be framing and raising the walls on a new Habitat house when you come out. All of that's going to supporting the over 425 families that have come into their homes since Habitat for Humanity St. Louis has been in existence almost 38 years ago. I have to do my own personal birth math on that one. But that's who we are. And I also want to remind people that Habitat for Humanity St. Louis is a grassroots organization. So Habitat for Humanity International is our parent company. Fantastic. But we have to raise the money that we build on in our community. So we raise about 98% of the funding that we need to use to build in our communities right here in our communities from individuals like yourselves. And we're very, very proud of that. And we're also very busy. So we build somewhere between 15 and 25 houses every year. Actually, in the next 18 months, we're partnering with 3 additional nonprofits in North St. Louis to take on another 18 units of affordable housing in addition to our own. Well, we're extremely proud of that. I'm extremely proud of that. I would love to close up shop tomorrow and say, there's enough affordable housing, we're done. I would happily look for a new job. But we're not there yet. We get about 6,000 phone calls every year, people calling, asking about housing. So we're not putting ourselves out of business, but because of partnerships like you, what we're doing is making incredible lasting impact on the families that come to us and work so hard for this opportunity. I'm just so incredibly grateful to come and talk to you all about these opportunities and about the steps that our families are taking to really change their lives. And all we're doing is giving them access to an opportunity that they didn't have access to in another means. So thank you for that. I'm rambling for a little bit. I want to mention a statistic that I just learned about our own affiliate. I've been in Habitats in 3 different places for about 15 years now. And I learned a statistic about Habitat St. Louis that I had never heard before. We were doing our Mother's Day appeal. We wanted to encourage people to give on behalf of their mothers. And we learned that 85% of the current home buyers that we currently have in our program are single women. Single women-led households. And I was still stunned by it. I learned about it like 6 months ago, and it still just kind of catches my breath. That we're able to provide these young, a lot of them are young women, but we have multiple generations living in a lot of these houses, to provide stability and affordability so that their generations come to expect the safety and security that comes with housing. It's something we're really proud of, and we hope to continue doing more of. And I love to hear that you guys are coming into senior housing. We need to make sure that more people can age gracefully into their homes and stay in safe places. It's a fundamental right that we all deserve to have access to. So thank you for supporting that today. Thank you for having me here and always being so welcoming. Have a great day.